Texas Tech can lose and still stay in front of Cincinnati and Arizona State, perhaps. Will Texas Tech stay in front of Arizona State? And you guys know the $1 million question here. Is BYU taking over the top spot? That's the Big 12 power rankings this week, okay? Let's get to it. I forgot. I made my graphic. I made my graphic for you all today. Remember, I forgot last 2 times. I think I've been doing it like a total amateur in a Google Doc. I've got the graphic now. Changing all this out while getting rid of this is kind of a nightmare, so bear with me. Hey, look, that actually, I feel like that looks pretty decent. Let's do it like that. West Virginia gets cut off. Mountaineer fans, that is meant as no disrespect to you. I cannot control this. Blame StreamYard, okay? But that was more professional than last time. You see it there. BYU is number 1, okay? BYU is number 1 in the power rankings this week. I think they deserve it based on being an unbeaten and Texas Tech losing, right? So the dominant unbeaten. I understand Cincinnati is still unbeaten in the conference, but the one we perceived as dominant in Texas Tech is now lost. BYU still is unbeaten overall in the league and finally beat a team that I think, I shouldn't say like everybody. You'll find somebody to say, well, Utah is not that good and Devin Dampier, whatever. I think Utah is a pretty good team. And yes, BYU won. They also were about an eyelash away from winning that game by 17 instead of 3. I think Kalani Sitake kind of went for the kill shot on the 4th down go ball to the end zone. And that was meant to be that moment, that like emphatic moment. Didn't get it. Devin Dampier marches down. Utah gets a touchdown there. I will say garbage time-ish. Touchdown there. Don't get the onside kick and the game's over. Because of all that, I think BYU has earned the top spot for now. But I'm sticking with Tech at 2. And I know Cincy fans, I'd be mad at me. Okay, I will just say that right now. I'd be mad at me. I know you guys are unbeaten in the conference. I sat here and lauded the wins that you had. Not Kansas. That game impressed me a lot. And then obviously Iowa State impressed me even more. You can say, well, Texas Tech thumped Utah. Well, we thumped Iowa State. And both of those are true. Tech did do it on the road. All right, that's a piece of this. I also just look at the overall roster and what I think Tech has and their ceiling. This is an inexact science, an inexact formula. I would stick with Texas Tech right now at number 2 in the Big 12. I do still think that they're going to be in the Big 12 championship game in Arlington. So right now, I've got Texas Tech there. Cincy, not far behind at 3. And yes, hey, Arizona State did just beat Texas Tech. I understand that. But this is the argument that always happens when people go through and look at top 25s, things of that nature, and they get frustrated and are like, well, wait, hold up. Team X beat Team Y, and you have Team X still ahead of Team. Why do you do that? And it's like, well, because you can't evaluate every single team head-to-head if you're doing a 25-team ranking. You have to take totality of resume and rank it that way. And so doing that here, I did see Arizona State lose 42-10 at Utah. I mean, that is a thing that happened. We can't just strike that from the record. And yes, Sam Leavitt didn't play, but the defense got abused. And because of that, I can't ascribe the entire thing to a backup quarterback game there. It was bad. And I think Kenny Dillingham would tell you as much. He did. And he said he made adjustments last week in practice, became much more physical, and that some of that was on him for letting practice become too much a walk in the park. Houston, number 5. Houston continues to creep up there. Look, Houston, I gave you guys the bump over Iowa State, TCU, Utah. Houston's moving up, man. Houston's moving up the power rankings. And very well, like I said, could be 8 or a 9-win team. I'm putting it 9. I think it's a real shot Houston gets to 9. I do not think Houston's going to be Big 12 championship game bound. We've seen how they measure up against the team that I just told you I think is Big 12 title game caliber in Texas Tech. That was a 24-point loss at home. It didn't go very well. Okay. Got beat up. Connor Wegman got beat up. Lines got beat up. Tech was too physical at that point for Houston. Then you get down to this tier's hard. Utah, TCU, Iowa State. What are you doing with all of them? I said it earlier, but TCU, man, I'm glad that TCU won for TCU fans' sake. You dominated that rivalry recently with Baylor, winning 9 of the last 11. and played very well. I mean, built a 42-21 lead. There are all these weather delays that you're having to battle through. Finally started running the ball. I mean, I will get a round of applause for that. Sonny Dykes decided to run the ball. They almost hit 200 yards, a $197 in the game. Obviously, it makes a big difference having a fully healthy running back room now. But every time I look, TCU is doing something that makes me not trust them. I turned my back after the weather delay to go start heading to the game and focusing on Arizona State, Texas Tech. And I look back and I'm like, TCU, I left you for 2 seconds, man. It's like a dog. Like you leave the dog for 2 seconds to go to the restroom and you come back out and the entire couch is ripped up. And you're like, how did that happen? It was 42-21 TCU with the ball with under 4 minutes left. And with 30 seconds left to go, it was a 6-point game and Baylor had the ball where they could have driven for the win. TCU, I can't trust you, man. There's too much nonsense and shenanigans happening with Sonny Dykes' team. He can tell me whatever he wants about how they've won 9 of their last 11. Is it 9 of 11 now for TCU overall? Not just in the Baylor series, but they've won. Yeah, it might even be better than that. Where's my TCU note here? TCU's 11. Yeah, they're 11-3 in their last 14. I understand that going back to last year. They did win the game. They're the winningest team, Sonny Dykes made sure to point out, over the league in the last 3.5 years. But you are giving 14 points to K-State, right? K-State with 28 rushing yards, 1 offensive touchdown, and a 2-touchdown lead in the third quarter. You somehow make that scenario happen. You let Baylor climb back in 3 minutes the way that they did, give up an onside kick, all of that to make that way too close. If it's the SMU game last year where you're giving up like 3 non-offensive touchdowns in a game in just different ways, I don't trust TCU to be a team that's going to carry this through the rest of the year. So anyway, they're at 7 for right now. I mean, Baylor, I say all that. I know you'd look and be like, well, John, you picked Baylor to go to the Big 12 championship game. Can you crack on the Bears a little bit here? Oh, yeah. I'll crack on the Bears a little bit here. Baylor, why is it that it takes you falling behind by 14 to 21 points to just wake up and start playing your best football? How many times have we seen that with Baylor? Down 14 with under 5 to go against SMU. They've been playing from behind that whole game. And then it's like, oh, wait, I guess we got to go now. We got to do this. Flip the switch, turn it on, win the game. K-State, you're down by 14. K-State has the ball in the fourth quarter. And then, oh, wait, hey, I guess we'll take a pick 6. We'll just have Michael Trigg pull off a Randy Moss drive, one drive that's just him mossing guys 3 straight times. Okay. We'll look like we should be a dominant team, and then we'll go figure out a way to win the game. And here it was like, all right, well, it's a 21-point game late. I guess let's just – the defense will all of a sudden do something, force a fumble, run it back for a touchdown. We'll hit up a quick strike offensive drive, which we can do when Sawyer Robertson gets hot. Oh, we'll recover an onside kick. It's like, Baylor, just do this earlier. Do this early. Don't look lethargic earlier. That's my annoyance with Baylor. I'm seeing a couple, Starter 179 asks, is Aranda on the hot seat? And we had Wet Blanket asking about Dave Aranda as well. I'm sure he is. I mean, I'm sure Baylor fans are tired of it. We'll see how this goes the rest of the year. I guess I'll put it that way, because they finished hot. I mean, remember, everybody had fired, not all but fired. Everybody had fired Dave Aranda last year after the Colorado game and the Hail Mary. And they finished red hot and within an eyelash of going to the Big 12 championship game last year. So because of that, I guess I'll wait and see how it all plays out. But hot seat, I think it is totally fair to say hot seat for Aranda, because I think Baylor fans are tired of dealing with this same type of thing every single year. Let me see. Any other things that I think are important here? I mean, poor Arizona is just like 2 plays from being up where Houston's at, basically, but instead they're at 11 because they're not finishing games. Heck of a comeback in a game of runs against Houston on Saturday, but then once you climb the mountain, you get it tied, you give up the long, methodical field goal drive for Houston to win the game. I mean, and to be fair, Houston controlled a greater chunk of that game than Arizona did. you could definitely say, Arizona absolutely should have won the BYU game. They let that one go. They were in it against Houston with an opportunity there. So really probably should have been 1-1 in those two for Arizona. But I do feel for Arizona fans. I feel for Brent Brennan. He seems like a good dude, but I don't know that he has like the killer instinct to get over the hump in late games that are close. I think we're finding that out. Let's talk to Big Lyman 34. What's up, Big Lyman 34? Thank you for your support, my friend. So how many of us Big 12 fans started digging up the old championship predictor sites? Can't be just me, right? Those are great. Whether it's been basketball, I feel like I've used them more for basketball, but also, yes, they do exist for football. Was it an Iowa State fan that created that? Am I just thinking that because of the red and yellow colors? I want to say it was an Iowa State fan that made those. Anyway, shout out to whoever it was because they are great. They are definitely great. Oh, I should say, look, yeah, West Virginia's in the bottom spot. That's West Virginia. Things aren't going well. I know there's a ton of injuries. Not really competitive with UCF. Oklahoma State showed a bit of fight against Cincinnati. All right. That's what was the impetus for me to move them up to 15. You have a pick six late in that game that made the score look a little bit worse than it was. Oklahoma State was fighting. Like they were in it. They were kind of hanging within 2 scores of Cincinnati for most of the game. I'm seeing more fight out of Oklahoma State right now. So I jockey them up to the 15 spot in the power rankings. There we go. Wet blanket. Let's go. Yes. Wet blanket. Let's go indeed. I loved those helmets, by the way. I see your picture there. Love the helmets. Love it. Okay. Is this true? Can't use the site anymore because the Big 12 changed their tiebreakers? Damn. I don't know the validity of this because I have not used one in a minute. Okay, I have not used one in a minute. I can neither confirm nor deny, but that would be rough.